Hey everyone, Graham from Loudwire here. It's Wikipedia Fact or Fiction time, and today my guest is Seth freaking Rollins. How are you, man? Thank you so much.
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Excellent. I'm very good. And of course, Summerslam is live this Saturday, August 21st. You can see it on Peacock in the US, WWE Network everywhere else. You can see this man wrestle, do what he does best. But right now, I'm going to tell you that I looked at Wikipedia all day today, went through all the pages about you, and we're going to see what's real and what's bullshit, okay? You ready?
Oh, yeah, hopefully I know.
The birth name, Colby Daniel Lopez.
Accurate. True.
Accurate.
True.
Born
True.
in Buffalo, Iowa.
Not true. Not
That's
true.
not true. Okay, so
No.
where's the birthplace?
Technically born in Davenport, Iowa, but I
Okay.
was raised in Buffalo, Iowa. Yeah, there are no hospitals in Buffalo. It's like the size of my thumbnail. It's tiny.
Okay, perfect. Okay, it says on Wikipedia that you graduated from Davenport West High School in 2004, and as a teenager, you were somewhat of an introvert and you were straight edge at the time, too.
No, all truth.
So tell me a little about what influenced you in the straight edge lifestyle.
Uh, Honestly, it was just to be different than everybody else because you get to high school and everybody's discovering alcohol for the first time if they haven't already. And it's all about going to parties on the weekend and drinking and telling your stories about how hammered you got over the weekend and the dumb stuff you got up to. And me and my friends just thought that was the dumbest shit on the planet, and mostly to be counterculture, as anti as possible. And so we were totally against it. And it just gave us, like, it really gave us a sense of entitlement. uh
Yeah, sure.
it truly gave us a feeling of like, oh, we're better than you because we don't need that crap to have a good time. So that's kind of where it came from. We had some relatives as well, who had gotten into it, and it turns out bad if you're an addict. And so that was also some motivation. We didn't want any part of that. So twofold. But yeah, straight edge as it gets, man.
Where you were growing up, was there like a hardcore scene or the straight edge hardcore scene or a straight edge metal scene? Because I know you're into that kind of music.
There was a spot in Iowa City, which is a college town, University of Iowa, called Gabe's Oasis, and they would have all sorts of sweet shows in there. I got my face kicked in more than once, trying to dance around in the pits there. So yeah, it was that was part of it. And once like, my friends and I were very insulated. Like I said, I was a bit of an introvert, and so we were insulated because there was a group of 4 or 5 of us that didn't drink. But outside of that, we didn't know anybody. So kind of when we discovered the hardcore scene and realized that there were other people out there that were straight edge and didn't drink and didn't do drugs, like, it was cool. It was refreshing. It was like, oh, this is my tribe. These are my people.
It says on Wikipedia that when you made your pro wrestling debut in 2005, you wrestled under the name Gixx or Gixx. Is that true?
So Gixx, yes,
Gixx.
but it's true and false. So I
Okay.
wrestled under the name Gixx, but that was before I actually made my professional debut. So my
Okay.
professional debut was in 2005. After I had been trained, I had wrestled previously, probably, I would say maybe a year before that in a ring, and then for 4 years before that in my backyard. But my kind of debut in ring name was Gixx, who was a Magic the Gathering character. I never played Magic the Gathering, but my brother, who's 3 years older than me, was way into it, gave me the name, or thought it was a cool name. And I was like, all right, if you think it's cool, I must be cool. So I used that for a little bit, maybe a year here and there, and some shows.
Wow. And I think that Magic the Gathering gimmick is still available if somebody wants to take it from there and use it.
You can have it. It's all yours.
It also said online that you went through 2 other names that I had never heard before personally. One was Taj the Destroyer. That's true?
Taj the Destroyer had one event, I believe. I believe I wrestled one event as Taj the Destroyer.
Okay. And another name, Sam Robbins.
I think Sam. I never wrestled as Sam Robbins. I think that's just a rib. I think
Okay.
somebody may have mispronounced Seth Rollins at some point, but I don't know where Sam Robbins comes from.
It said on Wikipedia that one of the reasons that you ended up pursuing a singles career in wrestling is because your tag team partner at the time, Merrick Brave, suffered a back injury.
True.
That's
True.
true. Okay.
Yes. Yes. So Tyler Black was my name at the time. Merrick Brave was my partner. We now have a wrestling school together, the Black and the Brave Wrestling Academy. The Black and the Brave was our tag team name. We broke into the business together. He suffered an injury in, I want to say it would have been 2008, maybe. That was pretty debilitating for him, and he ended up getting out of the business. He made a short comeback, and now he runs my wrestling school as the head coach and partner. He ended up having to have spinal surgery a few years ago now to kind of repair some of the injuries that he got during that time. But yeah, that's accurate.
That's true. So at the time when you were first starting, were you solely focused on tag stuff, or was being a singles guy really your goal in the end?
No, being a single star was always my goal. I mean, we were in a tag team by circumstance. We were both about the same height, same athletic kind of build, both long dark hair, trained together. It's only natural to be a tag team, and we were successful as a tag team when we first started. So, we would get booked together as a team on a lot of local indies in the Midwest when we first got started. But eventually, it became, then the tag team breaks up. You have to wrestle each other, et cetera, et cetera. So both of our goals were never to be tag team. Like we didn't plan on being the Young Bucks or anything like that. Like we were going to be Tyler Black and Merrick Brave and make it that way. But it was fun while we had the chance. I learned a lot working with them.
It says on Wikipedia, when it comes to the Shield, it says that you guys were originally supposed to wear turtlenecks and carry riot shields, but that changed very shortly before your debut.
So sort of true again.
Okay.
There's an element. So we actually debuted in turtlenecks. If you watch the debut,
I do remember that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were in turtlenecks, and we had riot shields. And clubs as well that they had made for us because we were supposed to be some sort of riot security group or whatever. And we immediately realized that the shield, they were huge. They're full body riot shields. You ever seen a riot? They're massive. We very much realized pretty quickly that there was no way we were going to be able to jump the railing, run through the crowd, jump the railing, and get into the ring with those. They were going to be very cumbersome. So the shields went by the wayside quickly, and the batons, we had, riot batons that we were going to use as weapons. But Vince McMahon, our boss, actually saw us with the batons as we were rehearsing our debut and was like, "You need batons to beat somebody up? What kind of men are you?" And we were like, "Goodbye, city of batons." And so those live somewhere in a warehouse in Stamford, Connecticut now. And we never used them and quickly switched out of the turtlenecks after the debut.
I could imagine, like, with the riot shields, like a Shockmaster incident happening pretty easily with those
it would have been a full Shockmaster situation. We would have got stuck in the ropes. Like Roman would have fallen over. It would have been terrible.
So it says on Wikipedia that when you stopped using the curb stomp, it was because Vince thought it was too cruel a move for their top champion to use.
That is pretty much true.
Pretty much true.
He thought it was too violent.
Wow, really? Okay.
Yeah, I was going to do the Today Show then the following morning after I had won the title with that move, and obviously they're replaying me winning the title, and whether he saw it or somebody else saw it, or there was a conversation that involved him, and he decided we'll do something different. I'd been using it for a few years up to that point and won the title with it, but we went in a different direction the following night.
When you're told, hey, we got to switch up your finish, where does your mind go right away? Is it like, okay, I got a bunch of things I could use, totally cool, or is it like a struggle?
No, my mind went to WTF. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? I'm like, no one you're out of your mind. I'm like, come on, man. You know, his big concern was that kids can do it to each other. And I'm like, it's pro wrestling. It's every pro wrestling move ever invented. I'm like, well, come on, man. This argument is flat. But at the end of the day, he's the boss. He signs the checks. It's his deal. So, you know, you figure it out. I didn't have much in the back of my head, but I was a bit of a high flyer. I still do some high flying stuff now. So they were kept trying to get me to do like high flying stuff for a finish. And I'm like, no. I'm like, what top guy ever had a move off the top rope? You know, you got to have a move you can do to anybody at any time in a bunch of different ways, a full setup for it. I mean, like Eddie Guerrero and Rob Van Dam might be the only two that pop into my head with the frog splash. And while I do have a nice frog splash, I also don't want to do a frog splash every night. So I had to, you know, try to come up with some different stuff. Unfortunately, I was under the tutelage of Triple H at the time. And so it only made sense. He was the only one in the company who'd ever used the pedigree. And so being a bad guy, being a heel and under, you know, being his apprentice, it seemed like a very, very much a good moment and a good thing to use and try to move it forward, you know?
So it says that your film debut was the appearance in Sharknado: The Fourth Awakens. Was that truly the film debut?
I say true, I think. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the timeline, but yes, I think so. It almost felt like backyard filmmaking because it was like I was behind a building, like doing something with some fake like potion looking things, looks like from Secret of the Ooze type stuff from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And then like I was flinging a shark around and throwing it into like a lava nado or something. It was out of control. And I don't know how much actually made the movie, but man, I was like, it was a very odd experience. And then like seeing Tara Reid walk in, like as I was leaving, I was like, what is happening right now, dude? What world am I living in right now? It feels like my universe just got flipped upside down.
You never watched it?
I know. I can't say that I've seen the Sharknado cameo.
I can assure you it was a very good cameo.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
And last one for you. It says that, in fact, you did lose the Up, Up, Down, Down championship to none other than Becky Lynch, Marvel versus Capcom Infinite. Is that correct?
I believe that's accurate. Yeah,
That's true.
I did lose the Up, Up, Down, Down title to my future wife at the time. So no shame in that, you know.
No.
Look, you know those Marvel versus Capcom games, lots of button mashing, just no real skill at this level, lots of button mashing, a lot of luck. Just don't tell her I said that. You know,
I won't. Nobody will ever see this.
A legitimate victory for her in her eyes.
Is it good to have a life with someone who can beat your ass in video games?
Oh, it's a treat. Yeah, it's great. I mean, you got to have someone to check you. You know what I'm saying? You can't just walk around thinking you're the top of the house and everything. If you know, you got to have someone who's on your level on all things. So very nice to have someone who can kick my ass in a Marvel vs. Capcom. But I mean, if we played again, you know, things might be different. I'm not saying she would lose next time, but you know, you never know. Things just might be different.